Hi, Me4. Hi, Sylvania. I am making some kids' bikinis at the moment. Hi, Alex. How are you guys doing? I had to wait to get my labels today so I could actually get to working on these, but I can finally do that. It's been a while waiting for them, but it was worth the wait. No, my job is basically, well, I have a business called Realm Studio, and I make a bunch of things. I do t-shirt printing, I do embroidery, and I sew many different things. From wedding dresses down to basically tote bags and scrunchies. This is just something new I'm working on. Because I do markets at a place that has a pool. So people have been asking for swimsuits for their kids constantly, and I decided to just start working on that. Thank you, Roblox Gamer. I hope you have a great day too. Basically, yes, that's what I do. Is I run a business and it's fun. I like what I do. I love what I do actually. It's not what I always used to do. I used to work in accounting and it just wasn't for me in the end. Thank you, Sylvania. I appreciate that. I've been doing this for 8 years now, so some time. But recently I've been moving into more of a pre-made business than custom. I used to basically only work on custom orders and custom things. But this way I get to make the things I want to make. And people seem to be loving it because I've been doing really great selling the pre-made items. Because the thing is, I can try and explain to someone what I can make, but when I actually have an item in front of them, it's tangible and they can see it, they don't have to imagine it. And I think that's what helps a lot as well. I can take photos on models, I can do all those things. But I did get a few comments that I'm probably just importing stuff from Temu, which is why I started doing the lives. Because I'm not. I make everything myself. Nobody helps me. I don't have employees making things. I do it myself. And I felt like I needed to just prove that to everyone. So that's what I'm doing. I've not needed anyone up until now, so I think I should be good, yes. My biggest investment was my machines, and honestly they do so much for me by making it quicker to do my work. Craig, I don't agree with the practices Temu uses, and even Shein and all those use labor-wise. So I don't know. And also the quality of their things is not great. I actually have a lady coming to me tomorrow morning, a client who bought a bunch of swimwear of Temu that doesn't fit, and it's just not sitting right. So now it's costing her double because she has to get new swimwear made. So that's always fun. Probably have to clean up a bit before I have a client to call. We'll work on that. Yes, the problem is I can't even alter it for her because the fabric's not actual swim lycra like this. It's trilobal, which is actually what you use for the lining, and it basically frays a lot. If you try and pull it apart, it's just gonna come apart again. So even if I seam rip it, it's probably going to just get messed up anyway, and it won't work because it will literally fall apart from undoing the stitching on those. Oh, okay. Sorry. There you go. Sorry, didn't realize it's out of frame. It's a 5-thread industrial overlocker, or serger, I think it's called in other countries. Yeah, the one behind me is a cover stitch, also industrial, and then I have a straight stitch in front of me. Um, yeah, I saved up for those, but they were the most worth it thing I ever did for my business because I can get things done so much faster. Thank you, Craig. I appreciate that. I just do what I can do. And I like doing it, so it doesn't really feel like work to me. It did feel like work when I was working for the accounting people. And I hated going to work, so now I can work well into the night. I mean, I think it's like 12, if not late. And it doesn't faze me at all because I want to do it. I wouldn't be doing this in the middle of the night if I didn't want to. I am adding the elastic to the pant part, or not pant really, bikini bottoms. So like this, the top part. I still have to add the leg elastics, but they are over here as well. It's just 4 layers, well 5 if you count the elastic that I have to get to work together. I learned from YouTube, so you can definitely learn to sew. It started out as a hobby, and then I got my embroidery machine, the one on that side, and I was like, I can make this into a business while I was on maternity leave. And since I had the security of getting paid for 3 months while being at home, even though I had a newborn baby, I had the time to get it to become a business. It didn't do great for the first few years. But as time went on, people kept coming back to me and asking for more things from me. So you build your customers, but if you just want to sew for yourself, I mean, you don't actually really save money, in my opinion, because you will need to get a bunch of things over time. And then you will realize, okay, but I don't want to use scissors anymore. I want to use a rotary cutter and a cutting mat. And then you will learn of some other new tool that you need. It just works out that way. Or you want to upgrade your machine. It all depends. But you can honestly learn everything you need to know about sewing from YouTube videos. You can actually start with a pretty cheap machine like a Brother or such. I had a machine that I got when I was about 7 years old. So I used the really old machine when I started. And it still works perfectly. It's like actually surprisingly decent for how old it is. I had a very plasticky Brother sewing machine during COVID. And that I sewed a ton of face masks on. But it was so slow because I had orders of thousands of face masks that I got the straight stitch machine that's behind the camera now. But it really did help. I mean, it's something you can definitely use to sew if you're just sewing for yourself. But if you're running a business, I wouldn't recommend a Brother machine. But you can start off with a Brother. Or even something like a Singer. If you want to get something that will last you a while, look at the Singer heavy duty line. They are quite good machines as well. Yes, I have the embroidery machines, I have the overlocker, there's a cover seam over there, and then there's a straight stitch over there as well. So I have quite a few. And then I also have a domestic machine, a very old one, from I think the 80s or 90s, that I use for buttonholes, because all these machines, the industrial machines, are single function. They only do one thing. So this one only does overlocking. The straight stitch doesn't even do zigzag stitches, that I use the old domestic for as well. And it works. I mean, I'd love to get a zigzag industrial as well, but I haven't seen any for sale. Yes, you can get the Brother machines from Amazon, Slovenia. There is the one I used during COVID, was the only one I could get because my other machine packed up. It was pink and white. I'm not sure what it was called. That's like the very, very beginner option, I'd say. If you can afford a bit of an upgraded one, the higher end ones, I'd say go for that. But if you can only afford the cheap one, I think it's the pink and white one, then start off with that. It's definitely good enough to sew on, and you will be able to sew things on it. Just don't do what my sister-in-law did. She got one of those purple and white little toy sewing machines that runs off two bobbins. It doesn't even take a thread cone, like not that one or the smaller ones. I don't even have smaller ones. But yeah, her machine definitely doesn't handle sewing very well, and it can't backstitch. So I definitely say start off with a budget machine if you can only afford that. Uh, yeah, they are different in the sense that they have better features. So the more features you want and the higher quality the material it's made of, the more you're gonna pay for them. But that pink one I was talking about, I'm trying to think of the name. It has like a pink part with little flowers, and that one can do everything you need as a beginner. It can even take a walking foot, which you probably might end up with once you learn how what it's used for, and you struggle with thick fabrics. Then you will probably need to get a walking foot for it. But for a beginner machine, it comes with everything you need foot wise. It has a buttonhole foot, it has a button foot, it has a Teflon foot, and I think it has a metal foot as well. So you should be set up with that one quite well if you do decide to take that one. I think maybe what I should do is create an Amazon list with machines that I would recommend and leave out the ones I would not. Did it say this one? Or maybe just the ones I have personal experience with. Okay, awesome. Let me know what you sew when you sew your first thing. I am working on tutorials. I'm just not getting to them. I'm posted my first one on Sunday, and I'm going to try to do it every week. I was planning on doing a very quick video this week because it's quite busy at the moment, on how to thread a domestic sewing machine, not these, and take care of it and how to oil it and all that. But that's the plan. I'm working over to it because it's also my daughter's birthday on Tuesday, and then it's basically Christmas, so it's a lot to handle. It's really cool to sew though. When you create your first thing, it might not be perfect, but you'll be proud of it anyway because you made it yourself. Thank you. I appreciate that. I do have the first one on making fabric bows that I uploaded on Sunday, and then I will do the machine one hopefully by Sunday. If not, it will be by next Sunday. It's just a lot of things to get done this week, and this weekend I'm not even home. I have a market on Saturday, and then I have another market on Sunday. So, and maybe even Friday night. I think there's a night market I asked to join. So it's going to be a lot this weekend for me to do. Maybe I'll just do like a short video at the market. But that won't be a sewing related video if I do that. But if you ever need a specific thing that you don't understand on your machine or anything like that, just send me a comment on one of my videos and I'll see it, and then I can do that for you and make a video to explain something. If you are going to start with just a domestic sewing machine and you can afford one that has an overlock stitch, definitely try to get that. It's looks like 3 lines going this way and then diagonally the other way that crisscrosses, so it's basically 6 lines that crisscrosses. Then you don't need an overlocker immediately with serger if you are in the US. And it should have a zigzag, so even then you can do French seams where you cover the seams up and you don't see them, just to make it look neater. At any time, I'm happy to help. I learned from a lot of awesome women online, and I'd be happy to help other people, and even men as well, who sew on YouTube. And embroidery, I also learned completely off of YouTube videos. I did not know how the machines worked when I got it, but I got it. So that was a fun experience. It just takes a lot of patience to learn, like with any new skill, I guess. At the moment, I am learning how to do watercolor painting, so that's fun, but also quite daunting at times. Okay, Mifu, I'll see you later. I'm probably gonna be online for maybe 30 more minutes because I have to finish, I think, 3 more of the shorts, and then I have to sew the elastic in on the cover seam machine, and then I'm probably going to be done for tonight, at least, because I have all the tops made. It's just the bottoms left. I love the color of this one and the pattern. But if you ever need anything, I can even do videos and show you free patterns you can use. I started off buying a bunch of patterns I never ended up using because I didn't know they were terrible. So I never used them and spent a bunch of money on patterns. That's pointless. But there's quite a few good free patterns you can find online. I'm from South Africa, and you? Oh, wow. Okay. I've never actually met anyone who's from Dubai. I know a few people who moved there. That's pretty cool. Is it a good country to live in? Yes, I make all my own clothes, all my kids' clothes, all my fiance's clothes. So I've made a bunch of t-shirts before. I'm trying to think if I have one laying around here. I don't think I do. The only things I don't make at the moment is basically underwear and socks and shoes, obviously. Those I buy, but the rest I tend to make myself. Even though I can make underwear, I just find the process tedious and it takes quite a bit of time to do. But I do actually have a bra pattern printed out that I actually want to try and make one. So I'll see how that goes. The kids stuff I usually try to customize with prints and things because I can do vinyl printing and also do embroidery on some things. It's nice to have the options. Thank you, I appreciate that. You seem really nice too. I have some good company tonight. The other night I had a guy from India who kept asking me to marry him on here, and I am very much happily engaged. And then when I said no, he proceeded to ask me to be what he wanted me to be his sister, which was really weird because that's not how siblings work. And then when I said no to that, or when I told him that's not how siblings work, he wanted me to be his stepsister. I think someone just maybe needs to explain family ties to him. Because my parents are both happy and won't be marrying any of his parents. Oh yeah, it really was. It's really fun, and if you want to get a very beginner pattern, I'd recommend Patterns for Pirates. They have a free shorts pattern, and actually no, it's just a pajama pants pattern, but it's long, short, and in adult and kid sizes. So, and it's really not difficult as a starter pattern. That one I've made so many of, I can probably do it with my eyes closed if I don't have the pattern already memorized, honestly. Because I think I can almost cut it without the pattern at this point. But it's a really nice pattern and it's free, so, and it's also not a stretch fabric, which is ideal for beginners, I'd say. So you can use woven pattern or woven fabrics as a start. Stretchy patterns on the sewing machine is a bit of a more difficult concept to master, and you need special needles and everything for that, and stitches, because if you pull the fabric it will make waves basically because you pulled it while sewing it. So overlocking stitches actually stretch with the fabric, so you can pull it and it stretches. But if you use a regular sewing machine with a straight stitch, for example, it won't stretch as much. There is ways around it to make it stretchy, but I haven't found that any of those hacks really work that great. A zigzag stitch or a lightning stitch can work, but I prefer the cover seam, honestly. It just works so much better. It's a cover seam, basically makes the seam that's on the edges of bottom and sleeves of t-shirts, and also on swimwear. So it does the loops, and it can do, it has 3 needles as well, so it makes 3 straight stitches and then the loops on the bottom and top, or whichever you decide, because you can take out the threads that you don't need. I also have a lot of hobbies. I sew and I read and I garden and I cook from scratch and I can things and dehydrate them. I basically, I don't know. And now I have the watercolor painting. So it's a lot of things, but you can always make time for a bunch of hobbies at the same time. I've I get fixations on one hobby at a time. So sometimes I'm really into gardening. The next week I'm basically sewing full time. Week after that I'm back to painting all the time. So it all just depends on my mood, or baking or cooking or making pasta sauce. It's really all dependent on my mood, really. But it's a good thing to know how to do many things. Even if you learn sewing and you end up not doing it daily. You can save yourself a bunch of money by knowing how to fix things, or you can replace buttons and all those things, which saves you money, so why not? I don't buy most vegetables anymore because I can grow them myself now. I have a garden full of tomatoes and peppers at the moment because it's summer here, and it's great. I have not been in my garden for weeks though because it's been raining constantly. But while cleaning it out, I've been finding a bunch of things I can use. I'm sure you'll figure out what you want to do. If you're unsure, maybe look at a second-hand sewing machine. Just make sure it doesn't need to be serviced or anything like that. I can eventually do a video on how to service a machine yourself, because I don't pay any technicians to work on my machines because they just take too long. So another thing I learned from YouTube is how to do the services myself, how to do the timing settings myself on the domestic machines. I actually just worked on the cover sleeve last week because it was not doing the right thing. The stitching looked really bad, so I had to make a few adjustments to it, put a new oil under that, because these machines run on an oil tank basically. Yeah, I mean, it's always great to learn new skills, and it's something that you keep for life. It's like learning to ride a bike as a kid. I'm sure if you get on one years down the road without ever having ridden a bike since you were young, you'd still be able to ride the bike. So even if it's something you decide you only want to do as a hobby when you are older and retired because you don't have time for it now, you can always pick it back up. I'm still putting on the elastics to the bikini bottoms. I have this one and another one left, and when they are done, and I'm also overlocking around the edge here of the legs, then I have to put these in, but that's on the other machine behind me. The tops are completely done though. I'll show you what they look like. So this is the top for this bottom I'm working on now. And that's the back of it. But they are completely done. And then I'm working on the pants or bikini bottoms. I'm not sure what to call them. And after that, it's just the leg holes basically that needs elastic. But I hate working with the swim elastic. It's really slippery because it's just rubber. It doesn't have like this a fabric over it, so it's like a rubbery, I don't know how to explain it, but most commercial swimsuits usually has it in as well, around the legs and sometimes even on the tops. But I prefer to use the thicker elastic because those wear out sooner than the thick elastic on the top part, well, the bottom of the tops. So that's what I'd recommend for that. but I batch those. So basically, if I make something, I make 20 of it or something. Do you mean the elastics? But they're quite different. You get a bunch of different ones. So this one is a woven elastic. If you stretch it, you can see the holes in it. Then you get a corded elastic, which I had a piece here. So this is corded elastic, and it has lines through it that runs down it. And when you actually look on the inside, let me just see. I had a piece that was unraveling. So corded elastic has rubber elastic pieces inside it. But I don't like that elastic, so I took it all out. I was going to use the corded elastic around the legs because of the rubbery one. That's not so friendly to the machine. Or that's not friends with the machine, let's put it that way. And you also get things like Pico elastic, which has fancy edges. That's the ones you get on underwear. And then you get bra strap elastic, which is different as well. Basically, everything has a different type of elastic that you can use on it. And it's confusing at first, but once you've made something or looked at something that you want to make, you can quickly spot the difference. So some things you don't even actually use actual elastic on, like you're just using stretchy fabric. So that fabric is what they call the stretchy fabrics. And I can make a waistband just with the fabric. I can leave out the elastic completely. But the problem with that is chlorine from pools and such basically erodes elasticity of fabrics. So you have to consider that when making things like swimsuits, and adding the elastic just makes it last longer. And I want to give my customers a quality product, not something that's going to last them 1 or 2 swims and then be so stretched out that they can't use it anymore. So that's the reason I use elastic in the waistbands, but you don't actually technically have to. I just recommend it. So the elastic that I'm using in the swimsuit is the same elastic I use in the waistbands of pants. So with things like tights, you don't actually need to use any elastic. You can just use a stretchy fabric. If you use the correct fabric, you can just use the fabric to make a waistband. But this is the woven elastic, and that you can use in pants and everything. The thickness or the width of it does matter, because on swimsuits I prefer a wider elastic than I do on pants. Most patterns do tell you what size or width of elastic you need though. So for example, if you are making pants for a baby, you're not going to use the wide elastic like you do for pants. So it depends very much on what you are making, but it also, I've compromised on what I use a few times if I'm making something for myself. So I would use a thinner elastic than I need, or a thicker one, or wider one. I mean, um, if I didn't have anything else with me at the time. And I don't think there's any one time that I can specifically remember where it didn't work out well enough. Like sometimes you realize that it's not the best option, but it still worked, so it's fine. And at other points, it's more of a situation where you do realize it or you don't even realize it, is what I meant, sorry. And it just works fine either way. But this one that's called Swim Elastic, it feels a lot like I'd say it's a lot like a swim cap, those rubber ones. It's the same feeling that it has to it. So I wouldn't put that in regular pants. Also, it's a lot more expensive than the corded or the woven elastic. Woven elastic is going to be your cheapest option in most cases. So I'd recommend sticking to not using more expensive things than you need to, basically. Sewing can also be done like really inexpensively if you use old curtains on bed sheets to start off with to try and make your first, say, pants, or for example like the woven pants I was talking about earlier. If you use that free pattern, you can use your old curtains or your old worn out bed sheets just to make a test to see. And you usually learn so much with the first one you make that by the second one you'll be doing great, and you don't need or you won't make any mistakes really, because the first one usually teaches you a ton. But I used a bunch of old tablecloths and things when I started because I didn't want to waste my fancy fabrics that I bought. But also why I bought fancy fabrics to start off with, only I will know. I tend to do things like that. I have to focus on what I'm doing, because clearly I was not focused on all 4 pieces of fabric. It got caught in the wrong spot, but I luckily saw it before cutting off any of the fabric by accident with the overlocker. No, these are actually for a market, and a Christmas market I'm doing on Saturday and Sunday. They have a pool there, and people always come by my stall because they see I have clothing and ask for swimsuits. So I decided to just make a bunch of swimsuits. So I think I have 20 sets cut out for girls, and then I still have to make for boys as well. Because the kids swim while the parents sit at the restaurant and things. And then they basically get, so there's all these are the pants. I think, okay, there's 6 of them that I finished tonight. And then there is also 6 of the tops. So if I finish 6 a day, I'm gonna get to, well, I only started, I think, at 9 p.m. I started working on them, and I think it's around 12 or 1 now. So if I can get 6 done a day, I'm gonna have more than enough for this weekend. Last weekend, well, yesterday actually, we had a public holiday, and I did the same market as well. I think I sold about 5 or 6 of just the long sleeve tops, and people kept asking if I have the bikini type style swimsuits for girls as well, which I didn't. So I think it will do well, especially because it was my first day having swimsuit-ish type things that kids could use to swim in yesterday, and a bunch of them already sold. So I have to make replacements for them and finish the swimsuits. And then I have an order for adult swimsuits, and the lady's coming by tomorrow to get measured for that. It's, yeah, I have a few orders to do, but the custom things are not part of my realm business. Those are a different business basically. So I had the old one, which was custom only, and it's still custom only, and then I have the pre-made things under realm, so that helps. But I think I need to get to bed actually. It's quite late and I'm starting to feel tired, and the last time I felt tired I put a needle through my finger. I actually got the tip of it out yesterday. That was still stuck in there, but it literally went through my nail and entire finger. And I don't want to do that again. Yeah, the markets are quite cool because the kids have jumping castles, they have the swimming pools, they have trampolines for them. There's also live music and a bunch of other stalls selling different things. It works out quite nice, because I can even take my kids with on weekends so they can play, and it's quite nice. Oh wow, I think it's around wait, what's the time? It's 12 minutes to 1, so we're basically in the same time zone. But I think I need to get some sleep so I don't mess anything up or hurt myself again. But I hope you have a great evening. Thanks for hanging out though. It was actually fun talking to you, and it helped me get through all this. Also, I might have fallen asleep earlier, but it was really nice meeting you. Just need to get back to the Thank you. I hope you have a great day too. And then I'll probably do a live tomorrow night, hopefully earlier, but I doubt it. It's usually around 12 that I get to doing the lives. But I'll try to do it early. Okay, awesome. I hope you have a good evening, and I'll see you soon, I hope. And I hope you get your sewing machine and you can start sewing too, and then you can share it with me on Instagram or wherever you like. I do have a TikTok account as well for the business. I'm glad you learned something. That's the whole point of this. And also proving that I don't order from online retailers and just resell things. But I appreciate that someone's learning something. It makes me feel good about the whole situation. But I hope you have a really good evening, and I'll see you soon then. And get your sewing machine, and then we can start learning. And you can start sewing things. But I'll see you again and chat to you soon. Good night. Bye.